Well, welcome to the grand finale, the grand opening of our model railway. So we spent the last couple of years building this with a lot of help from different people. So well done to Sylvia. Thank you for Ruby for helping me as well for the last year, or not helping me as the case may be. But anyway, we're going to go to the opening ceremony and then take a quick layout tour before we finish.
Yeah,
Official opening ceremony. Well, thank you very much everyone for coming this afternoon to the official opening ceremony of the miniature long-haul military railway. It's been a long project, just over 2 years since the first lockdown. It wouldn't have happened without my wife, who encouraged me to start it. So thank you very much to Sylvia. It also wouldn't have continued without encouragement from friends, so thank you for your encouragement. And so yeah, as I say, it's taken a long time, a lot of effort, but it's been fun, we've enjoyed it. There's been lots of problems and things along the way, but hey, we've worked our way through them and solved lots of different things. So we are very proud to open officially the Long-Haul Miniature Military Railway. Go on, you can open it. Go on, you open it. Cut the ribbon. Off you go. Ready? Yeah. So if you want to push. Okay, well I'll push the button.
Push the button.
Push the button.
There we go.
And off they go.
Oh, both of them.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, do you like that noise?
Yes. Look at that.
Oh, Ruby likes it too. Do you like it too? Imagine Buffett jumping out there.
See now you see this, you see how much more complicated it is than our one.
Yeah.
Like we just made ours more complicated and it took me ages to get my head around it. And then you look at this and go,
You ready?
"Oh, my word."
Ready?
Here we go.
Hey!
Shake it.
Oh no.
Very good.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Job well done.
Very cool.
Just tell me it's on the map, so
Well, guys.
Okay, guys.
Thank you. Champagne. On this occasion, you're allowed.
Yeah.
Belle, come on.
Have a special drink.
Great
You ready?
stuff.
And there. Now to model railways.
Yay!
Yay!
Lockdown.
Yeah, another lockdown.
We survived.
Yeah. We're going to work our way across the layout, doing a complete layout tour of every single part of the layout. So this little engine shed, I bought that pre-made, I didn't make that myself. You can see here we've got a couple of the WD War Department austerity locos sitting in the sheds. They are actually both the same loco, but can you see there's a slight difference in colour? This one's sort of a darker blue, that one's a lighter blue, that one's got a red line on it, this one doesn't. So they are two different models. This is Major General McCullen, and that is Sir Guy Williams, just to be completely accurate. And you can see here we've landscaped the siding here. So we've got some ballast that we put down. I've got some different coloured flock. You can see a little hidden rail here that I've put in. I've done some scenic work on the rail here. So we've got some like ash or like some sort of tar or whatever that's dropped down here. And we've coloured that in. coloured in the rails as well, as you can see. I've got my little coal staves here that we put in, a little workman's hut with a hedge, and then in the background you can see we've got the mess hall. That's where they have their breakfast, and there's some toilets in there as well. And then you'll see down on the side there's a little allotment, some little greenhouse type thing where they're growing their vegetables for their lunch. So this section here, of course, we put in all our little bushes. We put those in quite near the beginning. We've added in a tree. We've added in some little bushes behind that tree as well. And then also some material going up the hill just to cover up that edge. As you can see also down here on the edge, we put some little bushes to cover up the edge. And that's leading up to the army camp. We've got obviously this embankment here as well. And you can see we've got scenic items all over the embankment, some little trees that have fallen down, some bushes and things. And that's leading into the tunnel, the upper and the lower tunnels there, going under the army camp. As the layout is loosely based on the Longmoor Military Railway, you can see here we've got our little army camp, which is where the army were based to do their training on the railway, of course. So we'll take a little bit more detailed look at this particular area. So we have our road that leads in and out of the camp, and you can see we've got a line of trees coming down here and our little pillbox in the centre of the picture there. I've got a little army truck that's running up and down the road. And then moving over into the main camp area, you'll see I've got my Nissen hut here. We've got the train. This is like it is in the real Longmoor Military Railway, or was. They had a real train in the middle of the lawn, just for display purposes. In fact, they had two. And you see here we've got a little man waving at somebody with his motorbike and sidecar. We've got another little truck here with the general waiting for his bags to come into the truck, and a tank, of course, just paying some duty, looking after the site. And of course we've got the three army huts where all the guys are staying on the army camp. Hopefully you can see there's a little man cleaning the window on the Nissen hut, and his friend is over there waving at the tank by the looks of things as well. Now, army camps also generate a lot of rubbish. So you can see we've got a skip there. We've got a steam shovel that's been shoveling some stuff in and out of the skip, and a little man there just having a look to see what's going in the skip. Just by that entrance there, you also see a little pillbox hiding behind some trees. So he's pretty well camouflaged. And then we've got a couple of trees here, some telegraph poles, and then another Nissen hut with a tank there guarding it. Now also you might see there's a little bus stop there and somebody waiting for the bus. The eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that there is a giant sitting in the between the trees there. So he's actually a 00 scale figure sitting on a chair. So he doesn't match my N scale layout. So yeah, he looks a bit like a giant. And there he is again, you can see him in between the trees. So from the army camp, leading all the way down into the valley, we've got our forest of pine trees. There's a couple of other little trees buried in there as well. And you see some telegraph poles at the top of the hill there also. We've got our little rock face decorated with a few bushes and a bit of grass and things all over it. Exiting the two tunnel mouths, on the left, on the upper line, of course, we've got our viaduct. Then on the lower line, that is snaking around through some fields. We've got a nice little fence there on the edge of that rail as well, and some bushes and things. And then you see there's a couple of fields with some interesting things in them. On the corner of the field there, we've got some campers. They seem to be trying to light a fire. It's already going a little bit, and they're cooking some sausages over it. They've got a couple of their little backpacks, and you see they're sort of camped by the hedges and the trees there. In the next field, we've got some sheep that are grazing on the grass, no doubt. There's a little lamb in there as well somewhere, if you can see him. And they've got a little feeding trough by that gate that goes to the road. In the corner of that field, got my special oak tree that I made. That was sort of a normal tree, and I made the trunk out of clay, so it was a lot bigger. And then we've got some pine trees on the side of the field as well, that are by the side of the road that goes up that mountain. Going into our tunnel mouths, you can see there we've decorated some scenery on that right hand side there, some bushes, a bit of sort of some bushes and types grass and type things. Even the left-hand side of that tunnel mouth as well, we've got grass going up the embankment, so we decorated that nicely too. By the telegraph pole there, you might have noticed a couple of hikers walking up the hill. So walking around their little bushes and things that they've got there on the main road going up the hill. Now the post van is making his way back down. He's probably been to pick up some letters. So we'll see if we can find a letterbox a bit further up the hill. We have our lovely little cottage scene here. As you may remember, Sylvia made that cottage by hand from clay. So we've got a little mini car sitting here by the fence. You see we've got a gate going into the cottage with a little path there. You can see also Sylvia handmade another little well, water well there in the front garden. We've got some paths there. And again from the cottage, you've got a little tree around the back. You can also see over the back here, we've got ourselves a little allotment in the garden with a greenhouse. There's some people sitting at that little garden bench, having a chat. And we've even got a little garden shed at the back of the garden by our silver birch tree. At the top of the hill, you can see there's quite a lot going on up there as well. We've got our church surrounded by some woods and trees. You might be able to notice there we've got a telephone box to the right of the church and a little post box. That's probably where the postman was picking up his letters from. So it does look like we've got a wedding going on. So there's a wedding car waiting with a few people there, or driver. And there's some guest cars to the right hand side waiting at the top of the hill. And we've got some guests chatting on that little bench on the left of the picture there under the weeping willow tree. And let's go and see if we can find the happy couple getting married. Well, as you can see, we've got the happy couple there with the vicar behind them. We've got some little page boy, page girl, and some other guests, probably the people that witnessed the marriage or something. Somebody there posting their letter. And you see there we've got a little bus stop at the top of the hill as well. And those visitors' cars from the wedding with another telegraph pole there on the right. Well, in the graveyard at the back, you might be able to see someone there just cleaning one of the graves on the right. So there's a lot of different stones and things. On that bottom left corner, you can see their little gate as well. That leads out into the tree area, or maybe it's an orchard. Here's a nice view of the back of that cottage. So you can see their garden and everything that's going on there. Well, I've got the two tunnel mouths coming out here. On the left there, we've got some trees sort of by the front of those tunnels. And then above that tunnel on the right, we've got a rock face there, a bit of grass and some bushes on it as well. And that's leading down, that line then leads down to start to go over the bridge. So we've got our little station halt here. This is called Liss. And you'll see there on the platform, we've got a telephone box with somebody standing by it. Oh, there's a guy leaning up against the station building, I think, as well. We've got a train in the platform at the moment with some carriages waiting. And let's take a look over in the car park. A little yellow Ford Anglia and another green estate car. Not quite sure what that one is. And you see there we've got another rubbish skip, so they've been clearing out a bit of rubbish from the station. And in the background there we've got some trees that we planted with some little bushes and hedges down the bottom as well. At the end of Liss platform there's a little signal. It is fixed, it doesn't really operate, it's fixed in place. But at least it stops the trains from going, so that's down, that means they must stop. Then on the right there you see the little signal box and a tree behind it leading up to the embankment that goes over the bridge. Here we've got our bridge. We made the bridge from a kit. I have weathered it slightly, coloured it in some sort of different colours, put a bit of rust on it, and obviously we've put that track running over it. It is a bit unusual for curved track to go over bridges. Normally it's straight, but of course this being the Longmoor Military Railway, they were just doing some training how to put curved tracks over bridges. We've got our storage sidings over here, so you see on the far left we've got a little workman's hut there. That's where they go and have their cups of tea. You see a couple of buffer stops there to stop the trains going off the end, and we've got 3 storage lines there to keep some trains in, or rolling stock or whatever we need. And then from that bridge, that embankment then's coming down to the Longmoor Downs station. In the background there, those of you with good eyesight may have seen, we've got a little stile that jumps over into the field just by that tree there in the corner of the field. On the main road, we've got our little bus trundling along. He's come to stop at the bus stop. There's somebody waiting there for the bus, I think. So he's got a little bus shelter as well to keep him dry. And then the other side of the road, there's the other bus stop coming the other way. You'll see by the bus stop there's a little tool shed as well. So that's where they keep some of the tools that they use on the trains in the sidings. By the railway sidings there, we've got our little copse of trees. So it's mainly silver birch trees, but there's a few other strange types of trees in there as well. Not quite sure what they are, but they're the silver birch trees. I like them, they're one of my favourite trees. On Longmoor Down station, we've got a mother and daughter waiting for a train. They might be waiting for a while. And on the left there, we've got our water supply for the train tenders. Longmoor Down station's pretty uneventful. We've got a telephone box there just in case you need to make an emergency call. And there's a few people there waiting around for their trains. There's a bit more activity going on in the car park of the station. You see there's a couple of people sitting down there having their sandwiches at lunchtime on their picnic bench in that little copse of trees there. We've got a bicycle shed. There are actually bicycles in there. I'll see if I can show them to you in a second. We've got a nice little blue Ford Anglia going around the fountain. And we've got a breakdown truck possibly going to go and pick up another car that's broken down somewhere. Well, there's our bicycles in the bicycle shed. I think there's 5 in there, in fact, 5 bicycles, so we've got at least 5 people coming back on their trains at some point. Well, sadly, the bus has already gone. We're seeing that going the other way down the road. But these 2 people obviously are going to wait for the next bus. That lady probably has just posted a letter as well. So here's our little spur where the trains can shuffle around the carriages from end to end. We've got a water tower there, of course, and a little workman's hut, probably another place where they make tea. And you see there I've got a little, actually that's a diesel locomotive, a little Basra, waiting for some water. Probably not, because I don't think they need water, but anyway, he's still sitting there waiting. By Longmoor Down station, there's another little workman's hut. We've got quite a few workman huts. They do like their tea when they're working, so they obviously need lots of places to go into. Now, the original concept for the layout, the view, I wanted a viaduct running over the back. So here's my lovely viaduct, handmade by Sylvia and painted by Sylvia as well. So yeah, that runs over the back, that high line there. So very pleased with how that looks. We've got some bushes behind it, I don't know if you can see, and there's a lot of bushes and things underneath the viaduct as well. And even my painted backdrop with the sky and the clouds, I'm quite happy with that also. To finish off, here's a bird's eye view of the complete layout. Well, it's been a long journey building this layout over the last 2 years. I'd like to thank my family for supporting me, particularly my wife, who's helped me a lot, so well done, Sylvia. Thank all my sponsors. Oh yeah, I didn't have any sponsors. But thank you to those people that have also watched the episodes and the channel for the last 2 years. Very grateful for you all. Shout out to the Helliers. Thank you very much for all your support and encouragement. Couldn't have done it without you. And yeah, just thank you for the hobby of model railroading. So may some of you be inspired, hopefully, by what I've done and go on to enjoy making your own model railways. Thank you all for watching.
8:30 p.m. Weekdays and Sundays. The Down Coastal Special leaves Euston for Glasgow, Edinburgh